Did it work? Are we good? Oh my word, that was ridiculous. The amount of new crap that YouTube is trying to throw at you to live stream is utterly ridiculous, and I have no idea what it wanted from me. It had me doing a ton of nonsense, and it just wouldn't simply go live. I don't know what was wrong with it, but it was infuriating. I ate almost one of my biscuits in its entirety while trying to get this work. Okay, so we're good now. Time to actually put the link up so that people know that we're here. Because right now, I'm just talking to myself. Fun fact, if you want to quickly insert hyperlinks into a like service or website that has hyperlink enabled in it, you don't have to right click and do all that fancy stuff. You can just Command K or Control K, I guess, if you're not on a Mac, which if you're not, that's probably smart. But Control K or Command K and we'll insert a link. And that is so much faster than all that other stuff. So there we go. We're going. So this is gonna be a weird stream. I'm gonna be sitting like this because you can see my notebook when I'm like this, or my sketchbook. So just having a snack. Alrighty. Let's get our reference photo up in here. There we go. And start off with a nice light pencil. There we go. I'm just going to be eating. It's going to happen. And I've got my decaf Earl Grey tea to wash it down. So, all right. This is going to involve a lot of me staring like off to your guys' side as I stare at my reference picture over here. But hopefully at least this way you can see me drawing without me stacking my phone on top of multiple crafters jars filled with crafting beads, because that felt a little precarious. No, I don't want to spotlight search. I just leaned on the keyboard. See, this is why you're better off not using a Mac. All right. So we've got a bit of a torso over here. So I've actually decided I'm going to draw Patton today. I drew Virgil the other day, and I like how that turned out. And I decided I want to draw Patton, and I want to draw Patton in a very specific pose. I want to draw Patton doing heart hands. Hello, how are you? I'm eating my snack. But yeah, we're going to draw Patton today, or we're going to try to. Oh, I meant to turn on music. I forgot. Well, enjoy this fun detour of me finding music. And by that I mean waiting 10 million years for Spotify to load so that I can find a royalty-free playlist to put on. Not like this is monetized or anything, but still, I don't want YouTube to kick me out. It's so finicky these days, who even knows? But since I tend to sometimes go quiet for periods when I'm doing these, I don't want to just leave you with absolutely nothing going on screen, because that would be a little bit boring and a little bit sad. All right. Is a straight head actually what we want? Well, this is me comparing what I have on my page to the reference picture. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The other reason I want to put some music on is I was listening to Danny Gonzalez's music earlier today, and while I do enjoy Danny Gonzalez's music, it is very annoying to then get stuck in your head when you don't want to be thinking about it anymore, because it's comedy rap, so it's like it's really catchy, like by nature of the genre that it is, but it's also just like so frustrating when it's just stuck in your head and you have just like this nonsense lyrics going through your mind. It's just like, stop. I want peace and quiet in my brain. Who am I kidding? We'll never have peace and quiet in my brain. But always helps to have something on else if I'm having trouble getting something out of my head, is to get something different in my head instead. Yay, then everybody's happy. Right off the bat, and I keep doing this, and I don't know how to fix it, but I draw a head, and then I draw a torso and hips, and immediately the head is then too small for the rest of the body that I drew. And the rest of the body is in proportion with itself, but the head itself is still too small. There we go. That's a little rounder than before, but honestly, Patton is a nice round boy, so that's fine. Spotify is just a big black block on my screen right now, covering up 10 million things. I do make construction lines, or I'm trying to. They're very faint because I'm using a 4H pencil, but I'm attempting. I'm teaching myself. I'm learning. I'm self-taught. And what I'm kind of using a combo of trying to use the basic shapes as well as basic shapes as well as the photo. Sometimes I use a drawing, sometimes I use a photo as a reference. Today I'm using a photo. So I'm trying to look at the photo, figure out the shapes based on the photo, and then recreate them. And obviously the hardest part about this is going to be the positioning of our little chicken wing elbows happening here. Oddly enough, I don't think the hands are going to be that hard, at least not in comparison to the arms. Yeah, anatomy just really be like that, but that's kind of why I want to learn. I want to be able to draw more consistently and more accurately without just 100% recreating lines from pictures, which I mentioned on Instagram the other day, and in that first video that I made when I was talking about why I wanted to do this. I can draw just about anything. If you give me a picture and say, draw what's in this picture, then I can do that. But I struggle with drawing something that's coming right out of my own head. So that's what I want to be able to do. And I think that studying anatomy and figure drawing just every day is something that will help with that. And I kind of don't understand how all of this stuff works, but I kind of get some of the basic premises of it, and it's going to go pretty well, I think. Funny enough, at the size that I'm drawing hands right now, I'm actually not too worried about hand. It's more about how the hand is going to connect to the rest of the body. I've actually drawn this exact hand pose before. I was just doodling on a church bulletin because I do that a lot. I found in anything, in a seminar, in a class, in anything like that, in church, I can't listen if there's no visual aid to what's going on. I can't just sit and listen without doing something else. So I am a doodler, a drawer of random crap while I'm listening to stuff like that. And one time in a church bulletin, I just drew. I started by drawing I love you in sign language. And then I started doing other hand stuff, just some random hand poses. And one of them that I actually did was the heart hands. And it turned out pretty well. See, like, already ignoring the context of the rest of the body, those heart hands aren't that bad. The problem is they don't connect right to the wrist. So that's what we're going to struggle with today. But I'm actually going to do the rest of the arm first. I just wanted to see how well I could do the arms and how quickly I could do the arms. I think also I drew the torso too wide at the top. Yeah, that's much better. Because the arms go wide. So the shoulders can be out there. But the rest of the body doesn't follow that line per se. Nope. We're going to erase that. Going to be lots of erasing. That's fine. Erasing is good. It means that you saw the problem and are able to correct it, rather than just continuing on with your messed up thing. We're going to try loading Spotify on my phone instead of my computer, because it's unbearably quiet in here. I can't even hear the sound of my husband playing Mega Man anymore in the other room. There we go. There, that's better. Oh, I do have a drawing tablet, actually. Here, let me get it out. It's literally right in front of me at all times because my computer is on a little desk stand, and underneath it is my brand new, used only once Deco Pro tablet that I got for Christmas. I tried to use it on Christmas Day. Again, I have a Mac, so I can't use Paint Tool Sci, which is what everybody says you should use. So I'm trying to experiment with different programs, or at least that was my plan. Then life kind of got in the way. I struggled with figuring out the calibration right away, and thus decided to kind of table it for another time. I also figured out very quickly that until I got more used to using the digital tablet and the digital pen, that I would have to, in order to have a prayer of making anything nice on the tablet, I would have to start by tracing to learn how to use the pen and the different brushes and things properly. And I decided that if I was going to do that, I wanted to trace my own stuff that I had drawn and then scanned rather than trace somebody else's. So I'm actually, once this sketchbook gets filled up with all these different days of drawings, then my creepy first one that I made intentionally creepy at the end there. But I want to be able to start tracing my own stuff to figure the thing out right away, and then experiment more with drawing freehand in the program itself. Krita is what I tried first. I didn't hate it right away. What it was, the reason I didn't find it intuitive is what I think I couldn't figure out was how to calibrate my pen properly. Because I couldn't get it to a sensitivity that I was happy with. So I decided to table it until another time, and that other time still has not come yet. But I am going to try using Krita a few more times before I give up on it and try something else. Because, oh, who recommended it to me? I don't remember. There's a Fanders creators server on Discord that I lurk in sometimes, and when I decided that I wanted a drawing tablet for Christmas, I popped in there and I was like, hey guys, give me recommendations. And I don't remember who it was, but they were the one who recommended to me Deco Pro and like XP Pen, and also who suggested for Mac I use Krita. So that was kind of that little journey, but one thing at a time. I do really enjoy coloring digitally, but so far, and I think part of it is because I've never had a nice tablet before, but I tend to prefer actual drawing manually. So we'll just see how that goes. Let me chew my biscuit here. Yeah, I colored LJ's Calvin and Hobbes drawing in just like in my free iPad art app, which has been my only experience with digital art up until getting this tablet. So yeah, I really like coloring digitally, which is one reason I wanted a tablet. I was like, I can draw pretty okay manually. I like to color digitally. What if I could figure out how to do those both at the same time? I could make digital art like I've always wanted to. Wow. Get what's in my head out onto the world in paper. Not everything for me works coming out as a story. Sometimes it needs to be something else. I think part of my issue with this, I am not super good at drawing angles yet. And the reference picture I'm using today has the shoulders at a bit of an angle, and I'm trying to get that, to capture that. That is why I erased my torso, is I wanted to capture that a little better. Is the music too loud, too good, just right? Let me know, because I have no reference for what you guys can hear. We are just kind of winging this. I do find it really interesting because and I think part of this is because both Mark and Ethan have ADHD, and I suspect that I have ADHD, but I've been wanting to try and get myself to learn how to draw for the longest time, and then being all like, spend the entire month of March learning a new skill and film yourself every day doing it for accountability. That's a thing that my brain will latch onto and be like, ah, yes, a challenge. Excuse me. I will do that. And the drawing every day isn't what's getting me. It's the filming part of it, because I don't want to miss a day of actually filming it, which has led to kind of a lot of sometimes irritation. I'm like, man, if I was just drawing, this would be so much easier. But now I have to go through the process of figuring out how am I going to get the proof that I did today's practice up onto the internet. That's why I did an Instagram live the other day, and then just like posted a 1 minute vlog onto YouTube being like, I Instagram live myself drawing the thing. Which I initially did because I find Instagram live so much more accessible than YouTube streaming. But I ended up wanting to do YouTube streaming today because then when it's done, it's just archived here. And so you've got a whole long proof of me drawing a thing with no extra work on my part. Maybe I'll make a new thumbnail, but probably not. We're just kind of going for it. All right. Attempt number 2 here is going a little better. I gotta be careful. Sometimes I start tilting my sketchbook and then that messes up my angles. The other thing is the hands are not in the center. In this picture, he actually is holding it over his actual heart, not just over center. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll probably do something like that. I haven't, part of it is because it's a busy time of year at school right now. Third quarter just ended, so on Monday we have a PDA day. Not a PDA day, a in-service PD day. PDA is something very different. We have a PD day at school, so the students don't come in, but we go into work. We got to do, all the grades are due on Monday, and because Monday is also the end of the pay period this month, only all of our time is due, and I have 2 full-length plays, 1 15-minute short play, 2 concerts, 2 groups that do extracurricular performances at church services, all spiraling towards the end of the year when all those things happen, not to mention just general discontent with some aspects of my job. So I've been stressed lately. So I have not been able to apply myself to creative exploits as much as I would like to. So a lot of the times, like when I get home, I'm like, yeah, I want to draw a little picture today. And it's like, part of it comes back to so much of the energy of this whole thing has to be spent in uploading and like figuring out how to record, figuring out how to upload, spending time editing. I've been, time-lapsing and adding in music and iMovie and stuff like that. To make the videos, a little interesting at least, because I can't make myself do anything halfway. So it's just like, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be good, and I'm going to pretend like I actually know what I'm doing and can make a YouTube video that's somewhat like a YouTube video and not just a random person uploading a drawing. So due to all that, looking up more substantial resources into how to actually get better at this has not been as high a priority as I would have liked it to be. What I'm getting at basically is I think my weekends are going to be spent a little more like looking up things a little more seriously and like how to actually improve more, and weekdays are just going to be kind of like throwing spaghetti at a wall, type of practice, because any practice is good practice, even if it's not, as long as you're not reinforcing bad habits, any practice is good practice. And I think I do know enough to not reinforce bad habits. So that's just kind of how we roll around here. Spring break is in 2 weeks, so that's the other thing. Marchus Honest, it's spring break is this month, so I'll have an entire week off, and then I can really, who knows, maybe I'll actually update a tip, update a fic. I looked up and saw your word tip in the chat, and my brain was like, say that instead.
Wait a minute.
True. I used to watch speed paints, but I kept getting distracted, so I stopped.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
It always throws me off on these like lo-fi playlists when there's something that has lyrics in it. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Because I'm just like staring at whatever it is I'm doing. And then it starts talking to you and you're like, whoa, what's happening? Who's talking to me? Why? Oof. Sitting in the chair like that is comfortable at the time, but then you have to move and it is less comfortable. I think that shoulder is too wide.
Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it. Don't wait for it.
That's how you really know aces are LGBT.
Could be a new shirt in the men's store, a cat nap in your office.
Is we sit like that. Look at my paintbrush jar. This is where I keep my paintbrushes. Painted it myself. Yeah. This is actually currently the only Ace Pride thing that I have around the house, but I just ordered something on Teespring that should be coming next week that I'm excited about. Will probably be featured in one of my next March's Honest videos. I can't figure out what's going on with this dude's shoulder. It's such a weird angle that he's standing at. I don't know why he's standing like this. But it was the only one that had the hand heart thing being done by a guy. And I need more practice drawing male torsos because I keep drawing female ones. I was like, I need to be able to draw both. All right, you know, speaking of torso, I should probably give poor Patton here some legs. My freaking lamp, you can never see what's going on there. But if I turn it off, it gets so dark in here. Whatever. You'll be able to see it when I go over it with a darker pencil. This is a 4H, all right? Give me some slack. Well, Patton's got little stick legs, but that's okay. We're going to put him in khakis anyway. As long as the lines are all right, then we're good. And now if there was anybody who was appropriate for the way that I draw feet, it is Patton. When I'm just sketching random things, my feet are very blocky, very loafery. I have one of those artist figures somewhere. I cannot find them anywhere. Oh, did I put it in that shoebox? That random shoebox that's sitting there on my shelf as a prop for my stuffed bunny? Hang on a sec. I might have solved the mystery as where the heck my art figure went. No. That was wedding cards. Never have I been so disappointed to find the wedding cards. I don't know where my art figure went. It was ages ago that I got that thing. I've had it for so long. I hardly ever used it, and now I don't know where it is. I wanted to start using it. Was that when I started doing this? I was like, hey, that'll be great. I can make my own pose references. And I can't find it anywhere. All right. There's something weird here. I don't know quite what it is, but it's something. Oh, and I know you said this ages ago, Lo, but thank you for liking my Virgil. I'm glad you liked him. I liked how he turned out. That was kind of a reminder to me, like, hey, you actually do kind of know how to do this, or at least like you can figure out how to do this. This isn't an impossible feat. This is something that you can do. So that was neat. It's so weird. You'd think I would have always loved music like this, but I only very recently started intentionally searching for lo-fi specifically. I really like it. Anytime I need to get something done, it does wonders for my brain. I shouldn't have erased the hands. They were fine, and now I've tried to move them, and it's made everything worse. All right. I think... Yeah, exactly. See, and that's why I want to use digital. Like, if I had made yesterday's sketch digitally, it would have literally been perfect, because the only thing that I am not happy with proportionally with this picture is that her head is a little bit too small, which would be so easy to fix digitally. But as it was, I was like, I'm not erasing and redrawing the freaking head for the millionth time. Also, the hair wasn't perfect, but I wasn't super torn up about that. I know how to draw braids. I just wasn't looking at a reminder of how to do them, so I just kind of let it go. All right, there we go. I've actually literally, I think one of my problems right now that I'm having is the very first video that I looked up on how to do some of this was the artist was drawing women, which is great. And the times that I've drawn women or anybody who's particularly curvy have gone very well. But when I get to guys, their legs are not as curvy as ours are. And my drawings aren't really reflecting that. I need to look at somebody drawing legs that are guy legs, because my legs don't look like guy legs. All my guys are Nope, don't pick at it. This is me actually focusing on the drawing and not thinking about much else. Nope. Well, those ended up being a bit bell-bottomy. I also really need to figure out where my erasers went, because I have no idea where my erasers are. So I've just been using the bottoms of pencils that I have lying around. But this pencil was unused yesterday. And this was on one drawing. So yeah, I really need to get a new eraser source. I should have rated the school supplies caption. I'll do that Monday. I'll get one of my big pink pearl erasers from my jar that the students use, and I'll just take it home. It's fine. They never use it in my class anyway. I think I'm gonna save that arm thing for another day, which is actually the same thing that happened with the elf lady yesterday. I was trying to actually draw arms that were being held out like this because I had in my head there was going to be some sort of like forest spirit or something being like, I give you life. But this was not working out because there's this perspective thing happening here, and I wasn't able to get the forearms to a perspective area that I was happy with, so I just decided to go with hands on hips instead, which I'm thinking I'm going to do something similar with dear little Pat in here, because he isn't wanting to play nicely, and I don't want to be doing this all night. I have kind of had a weird sleep schedule this week, and I want to get back to a better one, and that will involve not staying up till 2 a.m. tonight like I did last weekend, which wrecked my sleep schedule for the entire week. Thanks for coming, Flair. Bye. I'll definitely post them when I'm done, so you'll be able to see. Let's see. What other poses would be good for our pattern? First off, let's redraw that torso. I wish I was good at hair. I'm really not, though. I'm very not good at hair. Hair has always been so hit and miss for me. This random picture that I tried to draw one time of Catherine with baby Jims, I like how this hair turned out. This hair turned out pretty good. Ignore the botched attempt at a child sitting on her shoulders. I do like that idea. Maybe a peace sign would be good. But then other times when I've tried to do hair have just turned out so horribly. Like, this isn't horrible, but I'm not especially proud of it. At least not the princess side. I like how the handkerchief in her hair turned out, but like I don't know what's going on with this side of the drawing over here. Then again, this hair turned out really well, but I was also looking at a really good reference picture the entire time. Same with this one. I was looking at the 3D model the entire time. Also, 2B's hair is really simple, and also 2B's entire face is covered. So that all was really easy. Like, what I want to be able to do is actually get consistently better at hair. And Patton in particular, his hair is so hard for me. Oh, someone messaged me on Tumblr. Let's see who it is. Is it who I think it is? It is! Doesn't want to load. All right, we'll look at that later then, because it doesn't want to be my friend. I like that. I think we will do a peace sign. So, I feel like his other hand he'd have on his hip, like, I'm a cool dad. Let's see. We're actually gonna... I have this arm good already. But I also do feel like he would kind of cock it a little bit. So we're gonna tilt that down and that up. And also when you do that, your torso curves in. So that's got to curve over like that. I'm almost better without reference pictures if I can figure out what the shapes are actually doing. Sometimes if I have a reference picture, my brain wants to adhere to it too much and then I can't transfer what I want from the reference picture onto what I'm actually doing. All right, I think we also need to move the leg over just a little bit to compensate for the torso. So I'm gonna move that. Again, digital, this would be so much easier. But one step at a time. That's not a lyric from Standing on the Borderline, but it sounds like it should be. Probably should have cleaned this office, but whatever. You get a cute view of the teddy bear in the back. It's better than having a clean room to look at, isn't it? All right, what does your neck do when you do that? See, now I'm just using the stream footage to figure out what the pose would look like. So he's going like this. The neck actually stays the same. It's the shoulder going up. Hair, will you get out of my way? So neck's going down, normal. But the shoulder, it almost feels like the shoulder comes from behind, like that. Oh no, not an unstable connection. Is it good? Are we fine? Did we survive? Cool. Oh yeah, I'm not eliminating curves completely, but like the way that I was drawing legs in particular was like really like power thighs, and like some guys have power thighs, but this particular pattern is kind of lankier, so I didn't want to give him power thighs. There we go. I also haven't figured out how to do fists on hip and making it look natural. Oh, that's why. It's because the angle's different. It needs to curve inward. I have it curving outward, like you can see the curve of the forearm, but you can't see the curve of the forearm when he does that. We're learning things. We're making artistic discoveries. And then line goes up. Is that the hip? I have it at his waist. I just have a thin waist, so mine always kind of go higher. It is very frustrating sometimes because I have a very hourglassy figure, but I'm also 5'10", which means I struggle finding clothes that fit me because they want people with hourglassy figures to be about 3 inches shorter than me and have feet that are about a size and a half smaller than mine. So even though if you looked at me in a vacuum, you'd be like, oh yeah, she has a body type that's like what the standard of beauty says the body type should be. It's like, that doesn't mean anything because I can't find clothes that fit me because I'm tall and that just gets in the way of everything. And like 5'10" isn't the tallest in the world for a girl, but it's pretty tall. And everyone in my family is this tall. And it's just kind of how we be. Well, I say everyone in my family is this tall. That is not true. But my cousins who aren't that tall get it from the people in their families who are not on our side of the family. Or from my grandma. My grandma is ridiculously short. But my grandpa is 6'4". So, I don't know. Most of their kids, I think, on my mom's side got grandpa's genes, not grandma's. It also goes... You know what? We're going to worry about that later. I'm also, one of the things I'm hoping to learn / get better at through this process is trying to let go of perfection. Because if I try to make every sketch perfect, I'm going to spend so long on them all and it's going to become so annoying and I don't have that kind of time to spend and I don't want to spend that kind of time. I need to learn how to both put in the work to get better at something, but also when to accept that sometimes an imperfection is okay, and it just means that that's something to work on for the next time. Is that high enough? It is. And when that goes up, you can see the curve of the forearm. And then when that comes up like that, let's start with shape first. So the wrist tapers, and then you've got your squat. Thumb. Bunny ears. The other frustrating thing that I find a lot of the time is that I am a decent enough at having like an artist eye for things that I can like look at a drawing that either I have done or that someone else has done and tell you exactly what is wrong with it. I can say, oh, the proportions on that hand are wrong, or oh, the angle of this wasn't right, or oh, the head was too big, the shoulders were too wide, something like that. But if you gave me a pen and pencil and said, okay, then fix it, I'd be like, oh, I can't do that. I just know what was wrong with it. All right, let's just, I'm kind of over this and I kind of want to do something else. So I'm kind of just going to wrap this up super hastily. But I'm feeling good, feeling good. There we go. There's a cute little shirt collar, buttons, little heart logo over here. Yay, heart logo. That looks terrible, but that's okay. Now, I have left the head alone for a really long time, but honestly, that's because I was happy with how it looked. So now, Patton, he gonna be cute. He gonna be happy boy. We give Patton round glasses in this house because I'm a basic fender. See, what really frustrates me about Patton is I love Patton with curly hair, and I'm so bad at drawing curly hair. Oh, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Round boy with his little rosy old cheeks. Okay, see, I say that, but then I end up doing this, and I'm actually not mad at how this looks. I'm not necessarily thrilled with how it looks, but I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And honestly, it is funny because first couple days, lower body was giving me so much trouble. The legs were ridiculous. But now it's actually been upper body stuff, and legs have been coming much easier. So progress, I suppose. I feel like his torso's too long. But, oh well. I'm not changing it now. It's going to stay as is. Chug the rest of your tea because it's cold and you don't want to lose enjoyment for it. All right, and now for the bane of everything. I say that, and actually I think it's going to turn out fine. But it's cardigan time, baby. There. Look at him. He's so cute. Cute little boy. I feel like he's totally got his shirt like tucked in, and he's got like that dad tuck where like you tuck it in, but then you pull it out a little bit so it's not like flush tucked in. So kind of like that. There. It's the boy. Ignore what's happening with his hand because I don't know what's happening with his hand anymore. I think his forearm is too long. I think that's what the issue is. But I think I'm going to call this my sketch for today, and then tomorrow I'm going to do cleanup on this and line it and make it look pretty. Maybe I'll even, because it's Saturday, maybe I'll even stick Virgil and Patton onto my computer and try to figure out my tablet some more. But yeah, we're gonna go for it. It's so, I am gonna call it an improvement, yes, because like while the arm length has some like stuff to it, I do think like the shoulders are actually fine. And this arm is fine. This hand is not fine, but this arm is fine. And it's just this part, like there, that's perfect. It's this part of the arm that needs to get redone. But that's a much more, even though it's still pretty static, like torso-wise, that's a much more dynamic pose than what I've been doing I've been doing pretty, like, you know, I've been doing pretty standing straight ahead, not doing anything. My shoulders are completely straight, types of things. So yeah, I would call it an improvement. I actually really like how all of these turned out, and I was just randomly drawing shapes with these. So I actually need to do more stuff like this because I like those. So yeah, gonna figure those out. But that was my day 6 draw. A very rough sketch of our dear dad. Tomorrow I'm gonna clean him up, redo the arm, figure out what's going on with this hand, give him some line art, maybe even digitize. But yeah, should be fun. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me while we do this. I really don't know. I feel like me looking directly into the camera is creepy. But also if I look like over here, then I'm staring off into the nether. But so like this is kind of like a good place to look. But on my screen right now, that's just me staring at my icon on YouTube. So it's not helpful. So whatever. We're all learning here. We're all figuring things out. So yeah, I'm going to keep looking up tips and tricks and lessons. This is kind of a weird little mix of self-taught and other taught. But yeah, I'll keep on working and we'll keep on getting better. I'm really excited to get to the end of the month and to compare my last sketch of the month with this, my first sketch of the month. Because for a first sketch, this didn't turn out bad, but I also followed a tutorial like 100% on this. This was my first sketch without looking at any reference picture or anything like that. So this is, I feel, a better standard of improvement is this one. So yeah. Thanks for hanging out. And I'm going to call this here. Probably go post these pictures, like take a picture of Pat and post them to Tumblr and Instagram and all that fun stuff. So thanks. Bye. Where's the end button? There it is. It's big and red and says end stream. Who knew? Bye. Yes, I'm sure. Bye.